Hello, good morning. Apparently that's a wicked curse to say good morning. So, whoops. So yesterday, actually it may have been a couple of days ago now that I come to think of it. No, it was yesterday. Okay, yesterday I listened to this, I don't know. I'm not apparently the only moron that just babbles openly about my emotionally, attached or emotionally developed somatic responses to my opinions of things. And there are these really educated people. Thank you, by the way, for shelling out tons of money to go to school and then word vomit your opinions on screen for me to think about for free. Thank you so much. All I have to do is watch some stupid ad about a COVID vaccine or a Chewy website. It's great for the doggos. All those idiots who, they never should have gone to school. Thank God they can go to veterinary school for the doggos. All right. So apparently there's this thing of wokeness that's cancer to society. I don't know if I'm included in that because I'm definitely woke, but I didn't go to school. I'm not an overeducated bourgeoisie. And you can tell me that I'm the bourgeoisie because I'm not dying from, literally dying yet from being poor. You can say I'm a bourgeoisie or that I'm woke because I talk about whatever, the self-improvement rabbit hole. And you can say that I'm bougie because I can sit in this beautiful environment and point fingers and angrily, resentfully sort of critique society and say, oh, I know I'm not educated. I know I don't have a marketable skill or anything worth any monetary value, but yeah, I don't know where these, I guess because they're really educated, they can just say hey, Marx said this and he's wrong. And then they can point to whatever body of work that they're that they're vomiting up from. They can list their sources, so they're better. And they sell shit on their channel. So you gotta click through the advertisements to get through the end of the talk. And the end of the talk is just, this person is talking about the overproduction of a bourgeois class. So we're talking about classes, and we're talking about bourgeois being separate from the elite, that there is the elite, that there are the people who are at the top of their field, for example, and should be. Like I said the other day, I guess I do agree with that to some extent. There are shit tons of doctors in the field, but just being curious isn't what it takes to get a job. It just takes standing in line for 8-10 years, whatever it is, paying for the piece of paper and signing it. It does not take being curious. It does not take being really smart. It does not take making lots of risks or anything like that to go to school. Yeah, it can be hard. Yeah, you have to eat ramen noodles every day for 8-10 years sometimes, but it doesn't put you in a different class to be able to go to school. And it doesn't make you an elite because you have a master's degree or even a PhD. School doesn't make you an elite. I don't care how much money you have rolling around, that you're willing to cough up and put that resource toward the same thing that so many other people have. So I do agree with him that we're pumping out these elites in their own mind. I get that. I agree. Yeah, I'll be on your wagon for the long haul with that one. But when you start going after like, oh, these people are dangerous, and you know they're resentful and they're critiquing society, these people are dangerous for society. What else? What other kind of, there was another point that he made that really just, this idea of wokeness, this idea of, hey, I went to school, you know, the wool has come off, you know, the blinders have come off, and I don't want these shitty jobs. He's talking about how that's like the snobbish cancer, that's what's wrong with society, is like, I'm overeducated for this job, I'm not going to take this job. The whole reason I went to school is so I didn't have to get the jobs that are available to me. And that's very corrosive. And I guess that's where I'm bougie in some sense, to say, I'm not going to take the jobs I have access to. And I guess that's the problem with society, is like people waking up. And I guess that's that wokeness that he wants to take issue with. And it cracks me up, because we have people like some lady named Cyndy, who apparently has some kind of mysticism involved with her insight, writing posts about how the blacks are asking to be, you know, paid for pain and sorrow that was already paid for with pain and sorrow on the battlefields. You dramatic, stupid white lady. No wonder you have such an amazing fan base. You're talking about shit you don't know anything about. This is why a lot of these Confederate supporter, in modern day Confederate supporters, will say, you know, the Civil War or the civil, you know, any civil rights movement, you know, it's not about race, or it's not about, you know, they want a smoke screen, they want to make it about something else. It's absolutely about race. Whenever you're talking about making sure the government can't control whether you can brainwash, beat, fuck your kids or anything else that you deem your property, we're gonna fight, right? You tell me I can't fuck my kid? You tell me I can't rape my wife? Tell me that, you know, I can't be a petty tyrant and beat and kill and replace these slaves, these indentured servants, or whatever you want to call it. Like, this is my property. My blood, my money sustained your life as my child, as my wife, as my slave. The Great War for Southern independence wasn't about slavery. Sure, we can say that. We can fucking say that all we want, as long as you follow up with, it was about being owners of everything, stewards of nothing. You can say it wasn't about slavery. You can say it wasn't about race, but just make sure that we're clear here. It was about owning. It was about having dominion over others, and being able to say, as a morally superior person, that makes you better. That because you owned the blood and the resource and the money. So to say that that you know, woke people who don't want to go to these shitty exploitive jobs, whereas there's this toxic sense of competition, which is supposed to foster innovation, but really just makes people stressed out, narcissistic psychopaths. And we're commodifying things, and we're commodifying things like healthcare and education, and we're sending all these people to school, we're sending all these people to the doctor, we're educating the fuck out of a bunch of really stupid people, and we're sending them to the doctor to have their needs assessed and measured and treated and assigned to them. And so yeah, I'm gonna complain about it. There's gonna be a bit of a resentment. And if you wanna say that that's super dangerous to society, that's fine. Where do you put me though in the classism like hierarchy? I'm only as educated as a dumb person with the internet is gonna get. I'm not educated. I don't have some illusion in my mind that I'm formally properly educated. And it's not that I'm too good for these jobs. It's that I know that I couldn't even hold a job at McDonald's for less than minimum wage. I worked at Joann Fabric, where during the peak of the pandemic, they felt like $2 above minimum wage was going to be enough hazard pay per hour to make risking my life for the shareholders of Joann to make money hand over fist off of people's boredom, their frustration, their resentment. They're sitting at home. What am I going to do to get involved? Well, I'm going to sew shit, or I'm going to make a Mod Podge sculpture out of my belly button lint collection. And that was essential. And people like that who didn't have a marketable skill or anything of value that they could do for money other than work for fucking Joann Fabric. I was an unsung hero because I was a necessary commodity in the economy. I'm a hero for that because I have no other choice. If I want the blood of life in my life, I have to go to Joann Fabric and touch all the shit that your snotty kids touched. And I don't know how many of you old weirdos were coughing and sneezing and licking the packaging, busybody weirdos. That was essential that you be able to do that. I didn't do it because I'm heroic. I know after that job and after my work history and after just being alive around other people who talk and bitch and whine about stuff that they don't have any authority talking about, but they're going to. And I know after that job, I couldn't get a job at McDonald's. And if they were so desperate that they hired me, I wouldn't keep the job long. So it's truly not, I'm angry, I'm resentful, I'm not going to do these stupid jobs here, give them to some brown person that you know, no. And it's not a Republicans against Democrats thing either. I made that crack about the Republicans being naive. Well, any system within that two-party system is going to be, they're going to have their balls in the fridge about making sure the economy goes well. Anybody involved. You're all naive morons. You're all overeducated, naive morons who, you want to point fingers that it's the problem is these woke people, that they're overeducated and they're too good for society and they're resentful. This is the problem. I think maybe you went to school for too long and you haven't quite untangled yourself from the conditioning. You're trying to include references to all these different concepts that you've studied. Honey, I'm so proud of you. Good for you. The point is, you can call me bougie, you can call me woke. I'm not bougie. I only own the means of social production in that I have a body and I came from the working class, not the proletariat. I didn't come from free-thinking radicals or, angry people. I came from hardworking individuals with Constantine's Christianity backing their sense of morality, just like everybody else here. And I'm not woke. I'm not Cindy's mystical insights. I'm not telling you that these black people are just part of some matrix, or like they'll start and then they'll completely spiritually, they'll bypass what we're actually talking about and start talking about, I don't know, aliens or angels or Jesus. Pray for them. She says, pray for the dirty black people. They want reparations for something that's in the past. Fuck those people. I'm not that woke, because I don't understand why that's even allowed. To spew this nasty stuff out the side of your face. You're selling a brand of love and compassion and pray for these people? That's gross. You need to redefine what light means to you and what good means to you. And you want to say that civil rights and that slavery, it wasn't about race? Okay. But let's be sure, it absolutely was about keeping people as property, whether it's a black person or your own flesh and blood child. You want to get pissed off that your kid didn't take all the handfuls of cash that you threw out of them, that your kid didn't want to go to college? Good. People like you, have a master's degree just because you're really good at jumping through hoops and paying for things and standing in line so you can sign them. It is a problem. We're giving master's degrees to people so that they can have power and teach children, or they can have power and divvy out who does and doesn't get the goods and services that you need to be well and healthy. You're not elite because you stood in line and you paid to sign a piece of paper. That doesn't make you an elite. It doesn't even make you bourgeoisie. You don't own the means of social production. You're not even in the workforce. You're just educated. You get to go teach classrooms upon classrooms upon classrooms of young people for future generations that are going to believe that both kidneys are stacked up on one side of the human body in an adult body, in the adult anatomy. Just stupid bullshit. We should be drug testing people before they receive blood for benefits, to monetary resources to live? You think we need to be harvesting and looking through their genetic details and oh no, you'd rather be high. You don't get material resource. You don't get to live. You don't get blood. These teachers who believe that kidneys are stacked up on one side of the adult human anatomy, who think that it's really not too much to ask that you don't do drugs. You're gonna get a free little handout. You're gonna start, if you're getting a free little handout, is it illegal to not take your birth control? You want to start talking about who can and cannot reproduce? Because you stomp your feet all day about not killing any unborn fetuses, but you don't want to actually ensure that people can meet their needs. I did it. Why the fuck can't you? Here, look, I did it. Okay. How's that working?
You went to school. Maybe if you're super goddamn lucky, you only had to eat ramen noodles for 7 years and have no hobbies. Maybe it only took you 7 years of, I misspoke before when I said journeyman's in a different video. An apprentice's wage is probably not going to make you that golden $3,000 a month, which is just going to give you a place to live and transportation to get to your means of support for this glorious lifestyle. You have no hobbies apart from maybe like binging a bottle of liquor when you've scraped together that many pennies, but you have no interest to speak of because you can't afford that blood. You can't afford that interest. So you work, you eat shitty, cheap, you eat on the cheap, you eat your ramen noodles, your beans and rice and beans and fucking rice for how many years so that you can get a shot at, being able to say, like, here's my piece of paper. I'm a Mason now. And then you're in your union and you have your skill, you have your trade. By then, what are you, 20 something, 30 something? How long did you have to live on the cheap, have no interest, no activities? You can go for a walk, that's free, sure, but you can't get in your car and drive somewhere to go for a walk because that's gas money and you can't afford that. You can't. So you need to keep your, and that's what I was told. Keep your nose to the grindstone, work hard, it'll be good, Well, okay. So I'm a plumber, I'm a mason, I have my trade. And it took 10 years of generating $3,000 a month by myself just so that I could have somewhere to live, something to drive, things, that I hate, that I'm not interested in to eat, but just so that I can have an opportunity to maybe meet my needs in the future a little better at some point. But nobody knows when you get the job and all that. So say you do get the job. Hey, I have a skill. I'm educated. I have a job. I got the job because I'm the best one for the job. It had nothing to do with any kind of bias or possible corruption from the person who hired me. It had nothing to do with that. I got the job because out of 60,000 applicants who have the exact same qualifications, I got the job. Great. Okay, great. You did the thing, you got the job, you got the skill, you got the job. Good for you. You're 30, 40. Now what? You're a raging, stressed out lunatic who marches around telling everybody that I did this, why can't you? Guess what? Good for you. You just became your parents. You're even better at being your parents than they are. And your worldview is obsolete. And you're marching around kicking asses into the ground. Good for you. Meanwhile, all I want is to not wake up in the middle of the night because my narcissist is pissed off about some bitch in the grocery line 3 weeks ago. I do want to contribute, actually, yeah. Contrary to popular opinion, I don't want a handout. What can I do that you people value? Because the jobs that I have access to, my worth, the blood that I'm allowed or that I have access to, that I can get, the amount of money, if you want to say it that way, it's tied up in these jobs that they're unskilled. So you literally just have to be a body that shows up for the sake of employee retention. And I can't even do that. So just I don't know, answer that question. I'm not educated. I don't even think I finished 10th grade. I know I didn't finish as far as 11th. So even that glorious, highly spoken of free American education, which apparently isn't good enough because everybody has to go to college if you want to get a good job, if you want to be worth blood in the future. We're finding that that's not true. So just because you're paying for something doesn't mean you're getting it. I'm the wokest, most bougie thing there is. So, I mean, I don't know. Lucky you all. You found the channel that just has all the world's evil right here. And I even, you know, cuss out ladies named Cyndy who pray for her.